Sixth grade, welcome to lesson 117 today. We will start with the quiz on the back side. It says, what are the interior and exterior angle measurements of a 24-gon? Remember to do that, guys. We put 360 and then we divide it by 24. It's full circle divided by number of sides. So you do 360, you divide it by 24, and you get your answer. Then that'll give you the exterior one. To get the interior one, you do 180 minus your answer. So I think that would be 24 divided by 360, I think is 15. 180 minus 15 would probably be 165 degrees. Number 8 says a rectangular prism measuring 15 by 18 by 10 is filled with water. How much does the water weigh? Guys, remember, the weight is the same thing as the volume. So multiply 15 times 18 times 10, and that's how many grams it'll weigh. That's lesson 114. 17. The equation of the line y equals 3x minus 4. What is the slope and what is the y-intercept? Remember, slope is the number that goes with the x. Y-intercept is the number at the end. But remember, y-intercept is always a coordinate, guys. So we usually write this as 0 and then put that number in there. So it's at 0, -4 is where it intercepts it. 21, it says, please factor this big equation. I'll help get you started on this first one. We break 8 down to 2 times 2 times 2 times A times A times B times B times C, C, C. Adding that to 2 times 2 times A, B, C. Now guys, whatever you can pull out of both of them, you pull out, and then you put what's left inside the parentheses. So if I'm looking at that, I would say I could probably pull out a 4ABC. Now if you're doing this, guys, you're going to cross out everything in this one. When you do that, make sure you leave a 1. So that it's not a 0 there. Okay, 25, I got n minus 12 equals 3n minus 4 plus 2n. Step 1, guys, add those together. So you have 5n minus 4. Then what I would do is add 12 to the right and subtract your 5n to the left. And then you'll get the number that you then turn around and divide by. So get your numbers going right. And that's going to be tough, guys, because when you add 12, you're adding signs that are different. Just like when you subtract 5n, you're going to be subtracting signs that are different. All right. Extra credit, good one. I might pull out my yellow folder, count out how many prime numbers there are. That would be my numerator. How many not primes would be my denominator. But don't write it as a fraction, guys. Write it side by side as a ratio. Okay, let's cruise through the front side. Algebra with V for the number of times again. It goes like this. What just happened there? What is my screen doing? Okay, hopefully I didn't mess anything up. We're back. We're adding. Hopefully I got 8x, 12xy, 2x plus y, 4x plus 3, subtracting 4x, 6xy, x is cancel, y, 3x minus 1x is 2x minus 3. Multiply the numbers, 12, count the letters, x squared. Multiply 27, there's an x squared, there's a y squared. Multiply, I have x squared y, and put that negative sign in front. 3 times 3 is 9, 2 negatives make a positive, there's 2 x's, so it's x squared. Canceling, x is gone, 3, xy is gone, 3, x is gone, y is gone, 4 goes into that twice, so I have 4x. Letter A, I'm multiplying the tops, it gives me 360. Divide by 6 on the bottom gives me 60. There are 3 negatives, so it'll stay negative. B, divide. 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. Subtract my exponents is -4 minus -6. add the opposite, so that's a positive 2. 2a squared equals 25. So I would do, 50 divided by 2 would give me 25. Square root that is 5 and negative 5. 100 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit. Guys, I'm not doing any math. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. It also boils at 212 degrees Fahrenheit. So if you have that memorized, you didn't need math. If you don't have it memorized, you need some math. 12.5% of 4,000. I know 12.5 is 1/8. So I just divide by 8. I get 500. Less than that is now the subtraction, 3,500. Angles A and B are which one? A and B here. 30 plus 60 is 90, guys. That's complementary angles. They add up to 90. Supplementary adds up to 180. 10% of 60 is 6 plus 4, 10 times 8, 80 plus 1, 81, square root 9 times 3, 27. Plus 1, 28, divided by 4, 7 times 5, 35, plus 1, 36, square root 6, minus 7 is a negative 1. There are 3 numbers whose sum is 180. The second number is twice the first number. The third number is 3 times the first number. Create a visual representation of the equation, then figure out the numbers. So I have my first number plus 2 of them for the second number plus 3 of them for the third number equals 180. 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 6n equals 180. Divide by 6 on the left, divide by 6 on the right, n equals 30. What are my 3 numbers? Well, n is 30, 2 times 30 is 60, and 3 times 30 is 90. So notice the algebra on how we did those things. Alright guys, today we got lesson 117. It's talking about copying geometric figures. It's what you'll do a little bit more of when you get to the next levels. Obviously in math class, we don't use it barely at all anymore this year, so I'm just going to read through it real fast on how we make duplicates. What it is it's changing from when we were young we'd use rulers, when we're older we use compasses. And so that's all they're going to say. Recall from Investigation 2 and Investigation 10 that we use the compass and a straight edge to construct circles, regular polygons, angle bisectors, perpendicular bisectors. We may also use a compass and a straight edge to copy figures. So guys, when you think about that, Investigation 10, I can't even remember the last time we did an angle bisector. In other words, they're showing you this stuff so you've been exposed to it, but we don't really take problems and do it. We set the radius of the compass to match the length of the segment, then we draw a dot to represent one end point of the segment. We swing an arc on a dot, a compass the same length, set the radius of the compass to match the length of the segment. We draw a dot, swing an arc using the compass setting. So I just use my compass, open it to length, make it, put a straight edge on it, draw the line. Okay, so boom. Now suppose that you're asked to construct parallel lines that are the same distance apart. We use the compass to find the distance. We would do that just like we did number 1. Now we'd set a compass to do the distance between the two. We'd put 2 marks, 2 things, touch the line with our line, whoosh, done. I just copied this using a compass. Back in the day, I'd probably just measure. It's 2 centimeters and 2 centimeters and go. How do I make an angle? Suppose we're given this angle to copy. We begin by drawing a ray to form one side. In other words, just get my straight edge and draw it. Now, we need to find a point through which to draw the second ray. We find this point in 2 steps. Step 1. First, we set the compass and we draw an arc across both rays of the original angle from the vertex of the angle. So we just go whoosh. Then, without moving your compass, you draw the same thing on the new one. Keeping it the same size as the endpoint. So I look at the one they gave me, I draw it, I move to the one I'm drawing, I draw it. Top of the next page says this. For the second step, we reset the compass to find the distance between A and B. So now I move my compass here and I measure that, move it down there, swing it, draw a line through it, problem solved, it's copied. Okay? Now they're going to say, can we do that? If you can draw an angle, guys, now you can draw the triangle. So you do the exact same steps for copying a triangle. You're supposed to copy this thing. Step 1, you draw your line. Step 2, you measure that thing with your compass. Mark it. You marked it. Step 3, you go back up here like we did with an angle. You mark it, and you mark it from both sides, connect the dots. So I mark it this side, make it, come over to the Y, make it, draw, and it's copied. Now guys, I know I went really fast through that, but what it really comes down to is you have to have heard of copying geometric figures. You know you're going to use a compass to do that. And when you get to that in a year or 2 or 3, or geometry class might be 4 years away, they're going to teach you it again. This is just literally exposing you to it because we just don't do it much because we only have a few lessons left and we don't use compass work that much. All right, let's get started on our problems, practicing what we have been practicing for the last 116 lessons. Number 1 says this: how much interest is earned in 4 years on a deposit of $10,000 if it is allowed to accumulate in an account paying 7% interest compounded annually? Remember what we do, guys. It's the amount I put in, the principal, 10,000, times 1 plus my rate, which is 7%, which I'm going to switch to a decimal, to the power of years, which in this case, it's going to accumulate for 4 years. Then I say, teacher, will you type that into your nice calculator? You bet, kids. Here it comes. $10,000 times 1.07, I just added it together in my head, to the power of 4 years. It equals $13,107.96. But guys, they didn't ask me that. They asked me how much interest. So I need to subtract the $10,000 out of it, or just cross off that 1, because this is the interest. I am making $3,107.96 if I have $10,000 in the bank and I don't touch it for 4 years and I get 7%. Okay? Number 2, in 240 at-bats, Tanisha had 60 hits. What is the statistical probability that she gets her hit at her next at-bat? Well, that's just her chance of doing it. She did it 60 times out of 240. Chop a 0. 6/24 reduces to 1/4. What are the odds? Well, 1 is what I want. 4 minus 1 is 3. So every 1 hit, I get 3 misses. That's how we do odds and switch switch probability to odds. Number 3, the average attendance at the first 4 meetings of the drama club was 75%. At the next 6, the average was up to 85%. What was the average attendance for all 10? Well, we did 75, 4 of them at 75. We did 6 of them at 85. So I multiply those two. That's 20, carry the 2, 28 is 30, that's 300. That's 30, carry the 3, that's 48 plus 1 is 510. Add them together is 018, and then divide by 10, chops a 0, chops a 0. We are up to 81%. Problem set 4. I got a box happening. They gave me 1.4 and they gave me 11/12. Awesome. 1.4 said correctly is 1 4/10. 1 4/10 reduces to 1 2/5. Right twice gives me 140%. 11/12, guys, in my mind is the hard one, top in, bottom out, because I don't have it memorized. Add a decimal, add a 0. Goes in there 0 times. 12 goes into 110 9 times. That is a 108. I subtract, I get a 2, bring a 0. Goes in there 1 time, gives me a 12, gives me an 80. 80 goes in there 6 times, which gives me a 72, which gives me another 80, so it's a repeating 6. So it's 0.916 repeating, which slide it right twice is 91, and I know repeating 6 is 2/3%. See the box. Number 5, the image ABC is reflected over the y-axis to form ABC prime. If the coordinates of ABC are this, what are the coordinates of ABC prime? So I have A at -1, +3. I have B at -3, 0. And I have C at 0, -2. So here's my triangle. And now guys, they're flipping that thing over the y-axis. So it gets popped this way. So this one that went from -3 is now going to be at +3. This one that was down here at 0, -2 didn't move, guys. Anything that's on the y-axis is going to stay exactly how it is. This one up here was at -1 and +3. It's now going to be at +1 and +3. Okay? So a little bit different, guys, because they didn't have it touching the axes this time. Number 6, the figure at the right shows an octagon. What is the measure of the exterior? Well, we just did that for the quiz, guys. Octagon means 8, so I divide. Goes in there 4 times, gives me a 32, 40, gives me a 45-degree exterior. B says, what's the interior? Just like on the back side, I subtract. I get a 5 and a 3 and a 1, so I have 135 degrees. C says, how many diagonals can be drawn from a vertex? Well, this might help to draw it, or I'd have to remember my rules. My rules are coming out of the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So always sides minus 3, guys. Number 7. From 90 to 2000, the population in Arizona increased from 980,000 to 1,321,000. The population increased by what percent? So this is an original change new. It might be the first time that we did this. Original, 100%. Change, I don't know. New, I don't know. But I know the actual people. I have 980,000. I dropped off the 3 zeros. It's going to go up to 1,321,000, which brings about a change of, I need to subtract that. 1321 minus 980. 1, 4, 3. It changed by 341 people. Now what I want to do is I want to figure out the percent of change that is. So I'm just going to cross multiply. 100 times 341 divided by 980. Might be a good time to use a calculator. I know how to do it. It'll just take some time to do 341 times 100 adds 2 zeros divided by 980 equals, they said round up, so that would be 35%. And so that's how you do that problem. Original change new with the different program to it. Number 8, a beaker is filled with water, 500 milliliters. What is the volume? Well, guys, milliliters is the same as cubic centimeters, so it's just 500 cubic centimeters. It will have a mass of how many kilograms? Well, it'll have a mass of 500 grams. To go to kilograms, it's left 3 times. So it's 0.5 kilograms. All right, as we're turning the page, those of you listening to the video can write on the top of your assignment, I want extra credit on my math test. And if you have that written on the top of your page, I'm going to give you extra credit from the math test you took yesterday during school. This will count as a bonus. You still have to do the rest of the problems with me, but now you got some more extra credit to help your math grade. Number 9, use unit multipliers to convert feet to yards. Guys, I know there's 540 feet. I know there's 3 feet in a yard, but it's squared. So 3 squared is 9. So I'm going to divide that thing by 9. That gives me 60 yards squared. Number 10, write an equation to solve this problem. 6 more than 3 times what number squared is 81? 6 more than 3 times the number squared is 81. So that's how you write it. Now we solve it. Minus 6, minus 6. Cancels, down to 75. Divide by 3, divide by 3. Cancels, gives me 25. square root, cancels, n is 5, and -5. Number 11, solve and graph the inequality. I have 3/4 x plus 12 is less than 15. Subtract 12, subtract 12. Multiply by the reciprocal, multiply by the reciprocal. X is less than 4. Graph it. 4 is always in the middle. Down 1, up 1. Circle, because it's just less than. Pointing to the left. See the box. Number 12. Solve for c squared. C squared minus a squared equals b squared. Well, guys, how do you get rid of minusing a squared? You add a squared. So c squared equals a squared plus b squared. Welcome to Pythagorean's theorem. Backwards. 13. The face of the spinner is divided into 4 sections. They're labeled B and D, which are 90. And sector C is 180. If the arrow is spun once, what is the probability? Write it as a decimal that it'll stop in sector B. Well, guys, they told me sector B is 90 degrees. Well, 90 out of 360 is 1/4. As a decimal, that is 0.25. B says, what is the chance of stopping in C? They told me C was 120. 120 out of 360 is 1/3. Chance says, please write that as a percent. So that's 33 1/3%. The last one says, what are the odds of sector A? Here's the challenge, guys, because they didn't give me sector A. I need to do the math. They said 90, 90, and 120. I add that together, and I get 300, which tells me sector A is 60 over 360. Or I should probably do it this way, guys. If I cross off a 0, I'm down to 6 over 36. 6 is what I want. Subtract it from 36 is 30. That's what I don't want. Divide both those by 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1. 30 divided by 6 is 5. My odds are 1 to 5. 14. The coordinates of the verticity of the square are ding, 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 and ding. What is the length of the side of the square? What's the perimeter? What's the area? So I have 0, 4, 0, 4. I have 3, 1, 2, 3, 0. I have -1, -3, and I have -4 and 1. So they told me it's a square, guys, but it's a square that's sitting cockeyed. So what I have to do is I have to find this triangle right here. I know this is 0, I know this is 3, I know it's up 4. So I have a 3, 4, 5 triangle, which means the side of my square is 5. So A, what's the length of a side? 5 units. B, what's the perimeter? 5 times 4 is 20 units. What's the area? 5 times 5 is 25 units squared. So for the first time, guys, you had to do Pythagorean's theorem to get the length because they didn't have a square sitting square like this. They churned it. 15. The right cylinder is a cone. It has equal height, equal diameter as shown. What is the volume of the cylinder? Volume of a cylinder, guys, is 1/3 pi r squared times the height. So if I write that cylinder, guys, I ignore that. So I'm going to say leave pi as pi. My radius is 3. They gave me 6. I know it's 3 squared. The height is 8. And so 3 squared is 9. 9 times 8 is 72. 72 pi inches squared. For the cylinder now is when I bring in that 1/3, guys. So 3 cancels the square. 3 times 8 is 24 pi inches. I should be cubing those things because it's volume. Awesome, halfway done. Number 16. 16 says the formula for the volume of a rectangular prism is V equals LWH. Transform it to solve for H. So V equals LWH. I need to get rid of the L and the W. So I'm going to divide by L and W on this side, which means I need to divide by L and W on that side. On this side they cancel. I just solved for H. H equals volume divided by the length and the width. B says, can you do that now? You bet I can. I'm going to take 6,000 and I'm going to divide it by 20 times 30. Well, 20 times 30, guys, is 600. Cross a 0, cross a 0, cross a 0, cross a 0. 6 goes into 6 one time. I'm left with 10. Number 17. What is the slope of the line? Well, guys, if I look at this thing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find places where it crosses the x-axis. So if I look here, I got -2 and 0. And if I look again, it crosses at 1, 2, 3, 0, 4. So I went over 2, I went up 4. Remember, rise up over run over. 4 divided by 2 is 2. The slope is 2. Where does it cross the y-axis, which is question B? It crosses right here. That's 0, 4. C says, now write your equation. You got it. Y equals, what was my slope? 2. So it's 2x. Where does it cross? At positive 4. So y equals 2x plus 4. Taking Wednesday's lesson and kind of working it backwards. 18. Write these equations in slope-intercept form. The first one they give me is y equals y plus 5 equals x. Guys, I want y by itself, so I need to get rid of the 5 by subtracting. Subtract on the left, subtract on the right. On the left it cancels. I now have y equals. Y equals what? X minus 5. That's in slope-intercept form. The next one they give me is 2x plus y equals 4. I'm going to write the 4 out here so I have a gap. I got to get y by itself, so the 2x needs to go. It's positive, I make it negative. Subtract 2x on the left, subtract 2x on the right. Gone. Y equals negative 2x, it's a positive 4. So y equals negative 2x plus 4. 19. Factor those. I have 24axy squared. That is 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 3 is 24. 1x and 2 y's. I'm just going to write C box. 19, a little bit more complicated. I have 3x squared, which goes to 3xx. I have 6xy, which becomes 2 times 3 times x times y. And the last one I have is minus 9x, which is 3 times 3 times x. So I look, guys, and I see a 3 in all of them. So I pull the 3 out. 3 gone, 3 gone, 3 gone. I see that there's an x in all of them, so I put an x there. X gone, x gone, x gone. Parenthesis, what do I have left there? X. What do I have left here? 2y. What do I have left here? 3. But don't forget, guys, we were subtracting 3. Okay, so you have your problem. If you want to write it over here in the box, great. If not, that's what we factored it to. 20, find the area of the square with sides 5 times 10 millimeters long, but express the area in scientific notation. Okay, so guys, what I'm doing is 5 times 10 to the third. If it's a square, they're the same measurement, so it's 5 times 10 to the third. Well, 5 times 5 gives me 25. 3 plus 3 gives me 6. Scientific notation says that needs to become 2.5 times 10. You need to add 1, which moves it to 7. B says write that in standard form. Okay, so I need to slide this thing over 7 times. Slid over once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I have an answer of 25 million. If you want, these are millimeters squared. 21, use 2-unit multipliers to convert your answer to square meters. Guys, I know there's 1,000 meters in it. So if there's 1,000 meters in a 1,000 milliliters a meter, and I'm squaring that, I need 1,000 times 1,000, which is a million. So I need to chop off 6 zeros. That gives me 25 meters squared. 22. Triangles ABC is a right triangle. It's similar to the other ones inside it. Which side of C, B, D corresponds to the side of BC? So I want to find BC, this guy, in the big one of triangle ABC. Well, if I'm looking down here, guys, this guy is the medium-sized one, so I want the medium-sized one on ABC. So ABC, sorry, is the small one, which means what small one do I need on this little guy? I need this small one right here, B to D. 22 says which side of CAD, so I'm now looking at this one, CAD, corresponds to the side AC of ACB. So in the big triangle, ACB is the second biggest one. So I need the second biggest one on this triangle, which is over here. So that's D up here to A. So it'd be side AD. Kind of confusing when they put those triangles on top of each other like that. 23 says, refer to the figure below to find the length of segment BD. The whole thing is 5/3. I am subtracting out the AD, which is 5/4. So it's going to be a subtraction problem. I need to find common denominators, which is 12. How did I get to 12? I multiplied by 4. 5 times 4 is 20. I multiplied by 3 on the bottom is 15. I subtract 20 minus 15 is 5. The 12 stay the same. It'd be 5/12 of an inch. Fun problem. They left it with impropers for us. 24. It says find the measure of the angle marked Y. Okay. Well, they're getting us in algebra here as we work our way across it. So guys, I know that 3x plus 5 from down here and x minus 5 equals 180 because they form a straight line. So if I put these together, I would have 3x plus 1x is 4x. Positive 5 minus 5 cancel. So I know 4x equals 180. I take 180, I divide it by 4, and I get 45. So in here, guys, this is x minus 5. So 45 minus 5 is 40. This one up here is 45 times 2, which is 90. Add them together, 130. Subtract from 180 is a 50. Y equals 50 degrees. 25. Solve. You have 6w minus 3w plus 18 equals 9w minus 4. I'm going to put them together on the left. 6w minus 3w is 3w plus 18 equals, I'm going to distribute on the right. 9 times w is 9w minus 9 times 4 is 36. I'm going to add 36 to the right, so I'm going to add 36 to the left. Now the reason I'm taking the numbers this way, guys, is now I'm working with positives. Cancel over here, add those together, gives me 54. Get rid of this, gives me minus 3w minus 3w. Cancels over there, gives me 6w. Divide by 6, divide by 6. Cancels, equals 9. 26. I'm going to distribute as I do it, guys. 3x times x is 3x squared. Minus 3x times 2y. 3 times 2 is 6. X times y is xy. Plus, distribute. 2 times nothing is 2. X times x is x squared y. And 2 times 3 is 6, and I keep the x, y. Okay, now I got to find like terms, guys. I have a negative 6xy, and I have a positive 6xy. So those things just cancel out. This guy and this guy cancel out. I have a 3x squared and a 2x squared with a y. I can't put those things together, guys, so I'm done. I just write them. 3x squared plus 2x squared y. That was a good one of the distributed property, guys, on a challenging problem. 27. 2 to the negative second is 1/4. Plus 4 to the negative first is also 1/4. Plus the cube root of 27 is 3, because 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. Plus negative 1 cubed is negative 1. So guys, I'm just going to do the math back here. 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 plus a fourth. A fourth plus a fourth is a half. Put them together. 2 and 1/2. 28. I have negative 3 plus negative 2, and then we got this bracket thing going on, guys. So I have to do negative 3 times negative 2 is positive 6 minus positive 4. I'm going to close that bracket. I'm going to subtract negative 3 times negative 4, which is 12. Next row, negative 3 plus, I'm going to do the math. 6 minus 4 is 2. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4 minus 12. Some of us might look at this and say, I don't like subtracting. I add the negative. So I have a negative, I have a negative, and I have a negative. They're all negative, guys. So 3, 7, 19 stays negative at negative 19. Number 29. I am taking 1.2 and I'm dividing it by 4. That would look like this. 1.2 divided by 4 is 0.3. Then I have 6, negative 6, minus 3. Signs are the same. That gives me negative 9. Now it's the scientific notation. Can't have negative 3. Have to write it as normal 3 times 10. When I have to slide that, I have to minus 1 more. So I have negative 9, negative 1. Signs are the same. Add them together. Get negative 10. And last but not least, number 30. I have 36. A squared B cubed C over 12A B squared C. 12 goes into 36 3 times. C on the top, C on the bottom. 3 B's minus 2 B's. 2 B's are gone. There's only 1 B left. 1A is gone. 1A is left. So I have 3AB. 3AB. Awesome. Lesson 117 done. Man, we are wrapping up this book next week with a few more lessons and a really sweet exam. Get super excited for it. Have a blessed Friday.